Hello everybody, welcome to the artclasses.com critique and paint over for Patreon. So this tutorial or this critique and paint over is powered by my Patreon at patreon.com/Xia Taptara. So usually I will randomly pick one of the artwork from my patrons on Patreon that you post on the community, and I will do a critique and paint over. This week I am going to paint over this one. Basically is from one of my basic tutorial, but I don't think you go all the way to the end of the tutorial. This is kind of basically just in the beginning of it. You still kind of have a lot of work to finish, so I'm just gonna show you a little bit more of what you missed, and the color and value you pick here is not quite correct, so I'm just gonna explain what, how, and why, and which color to pick, and sometimes you're gonna have to use a limited value range to pick a certain color. Anyways, so thank you very much to all the Patreon that support me on my Patreon. So I also do a live stream these days from Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. at noon Pacific Standard Time. So you can stop by and see me there. Usually live stream go for about half an hour to 45 minutes, and I will just draw and paint everything live. And Patreon will also get package. This month you get this tutorial. I'll talk about it for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Then the rest is going to be video process, because it's going to be a long tutorial, about 3, maybe 4 hours on this one. This one is level 5. On level 5 basically you get everything, all the video that I put out that month. This is going to be level 4, so if you're level 5 you will get this one also, video with tutorial. I'll show you how to start and what's important in that one. I'll explain pretty much everything. Then this is level 3, you're going to get that one, and then on level 3 this month you will also get the bonus tutorial, which is this. So and level 2 this month, I'm still working on it. It's going to be perspective, and if you really want to know more about perspective, you should definitely pledge for this month. And if you miss any period of the patrons or Patreon package, it's usually come out every 15 days. So you can go to Gumroad or go to my website, theartclasses.com. That's going to be when I upload a single individual, so you can download each tutorial separately. On my website is going to be a lot later than Gumroad. Gumroad you just can download right after. If you miss the Patreon just like a week, then usually you'll find it there. Because I got a lot of email asking me, oh, I missed that Patreon, where do I find that tutorial? So just go to Gumroad or go to my website, you find those video tutorial. Alright guys, well, let's get started, and hopefully I'll see you guys on Monday. Hello again everybody. So this part will be paint over for my Patreon, and this one is basically from one of my foundation or beginners package tutorial on painting figure, break it down to geometry and stuff. So if you are wondering what this is, it's basically just the palette in the JPEG file, nothing fancy. So first thing I noticed is, well, you got all the box and light and shadow on the correct, you're going on the right direction basically. So the lighting here is coming, I would assume, I actually already recorded this one but accidentally deleted it, so I lost about half an hour right there. So that's the light direction, and this is the light coming from here. And usually default lighting is like 45 degree, like anywhere that around, you know, if the light coming here or here or here or here, usually in the front. And the reason we pick that, because if you think about it, so this is you and the sunrise, sunset, right? So only a window of less than an hour that the light will fall on the top, so that doesn't make sense if you do that. That's not going to be, you can do that, it would make your character looks cool and all that, but most of the time you're going to be seeing people in this light. So it's basically 6 hours of the whole day. So that's why you put the the front, right, or around that degree to that degree of the person there. All right, so, and from what you have here, you only go as far as step 2, because I don't see any more rendering, except I don't see transition. You got light and dark, and there's no transition at all. So I'll pick this one. Another thing is, okay, one, your value is all right. You have 3 separate value. I would move it to a little more saturated. So if your color is, well, if it's darker, then I would do a little more saturated. If it's light, then it's fine if you have it desaturated. And on the shadow, every time you have a shadow, the shadow has to be more saturated. Most of the time will be more saturated than the light. So your light here is 28 saturation. Your shadow, well, 31, slightly a little more. You could use a little more though. That's only 3% apart. I would go about maybe 45. So we'd have a little more saturation there. And when you paint, the background shouldn't be this bright. I would move to about 70 or 80, because this supports, well, in comparative to the color of the background, the color of the background will affect the color of your figure. So it will make this one a lot darker, even though it's 86. But if I move it up here, right, and then that's the same exact color that you have, and your background is like it was 91. I didn't change it, so you have it about 93. So that's your background color, 93. If I move it down a bit and change that, see, your figure become a lot lighter, and it look a lot more like in real life. Because in the brighter sun, the color of your skin will get brighter because you got more light. So when you tone it down, you have the value of your object will go as light as the background and as dark as the background goes. So it's go both ways. So just pick the background that's appropriate for your character. So if it's light, then you go a little bit lighter. If it's really dark, then you tend to go darker. So you will get the sense of it the more you paint. So anyways, we're gonna pick 3 value here. I guess that's where you start. So that's about 90 or 86. The mid-tone is, well, you have it like way too far apart in between that. I would split it. Well, this is, if you think about the box, you pick the wrong value. Top, side, and back. And your back doesn't fit, because if this is 86, this is 80, this can't be 58, because it's split at 50%. I mean at 90 degree. This another 90 degrees. So it would be this 80. So assuming if this is 90, or if it's 85, then it's 5% increment. But if this is 90, it's 10% increment. And this is 80. This have to be 70. And a little bit more saturated. So now it's fit a little bit more. But in reality, in the right way to calculate that is like, if you have this 90, you do halfway to black, so it would be 45. But I know that you have this about 90, and did you have halfway, probably that is, and that's, I think that's where you have it from. But if you have it from here to the dark, halfway to black, then your mid-tone is going to have to be in between that. So they have to be incrementally even. If you pick in the incremental of 10, then you're going to have to make it the incremental of 10. But well, this is going to be a lot more complicated than I think. I think you misunderstood something here. So the way you pick the brightest bright and the dark, is probably correct, because if you have your dark is about 50, right? Well, that's gonna have to be 100. So that's the way you pick if you have a full spectrum to use. But if you pick in the increment of 10, then that one is gonna have to be in the increment of 10, because you're shrinking the spectrum from 0. Gonna have to. So if you pick in a spectrum of say 0 to 100, and you pick it mathematically 0 to 100, you're gonna have 90, and then halfway to black be 45, right? So you pick it the color. So if that was 90, then this will be 45, and then it can be a little more saturated. Saturation you can be various. There's the way to calculate it. There's probably mathematical way to calculate it, but you just want to guess or guesstimate rather than be super duper accurate, because it's going to take a lot of calculating. It depends on the color of the light and what color is the light. So, but you just, when you go dark, just move saturation a bit and then move it toward red a little bit more. So that's the easy way to do it. So you have, okay, 90, you pick 45, halfway to black. So that's your full spectrum. So that's 90. And then your light's coming here. So halfway to black, that'll be your shadow, that'll be 45. Toward red a bit. And then I'm just following your lighting over here. Just disregard that one for now. And then the in-between color is going to be halfway in between that, which is 45, 90, that'll be 60, I think. Whoops. 60. And it's gonna have to be a little more saturated, but it's not gonna be, it's gonna be less saturated than the dark, but more saturated than the light. So in this cube that you pick, you are using 0 to 100. So if you are doing that, then your mid-tone is in the wrong color because it's closer to the light. But if you're picking from 90, 80, and 55, or that's just the shadow way too dark. So you pick 90 and 80. Let's just do 90, 80. Then your others, your darkest gonna have to be just 10 more, because now you're using a limited. Be 70, right? More saturated, a little darker, more saturated, a little bit toward red, a bit more. So that's gonna have to be your darkest dark, because and in this case you're not using 100% spectrum, because if you're using this and 70, that means you're using spectrum from that to maybe around here. So you're using about 40 to 100. And that is legit, because when you're painting composition, each section of it will have limited value. So in this case it will be the dark, so it would be like maybe 45, or let's just do 45 to 0 to 45. The second tier would be 50 to 80. The third tier would be 85 to whatever, 90, right? So you would, this would be part of this one of the section that how you set it. So this one 40 to 100, maybe you set it, it could be around from this area to that area, and it's perfectly fine. You don't want to paint the full spectrum, because that's gonna, your value will be too extreme. And when you have an extreme value, go to light to dark, then you tend to use it a little more. So when you limit the palette, it's probably better painting in limited term on this side, and then, but when you use occlusion shadow, you can go a little bit darker, because occlusion shadow is going to be really dark, whatever is going to make it pop. So this value that you set up for this one is already off. So if you have the incrementation of 10, then you're just going to move in 10. You can't just, okay, I'm going to move this 10 and then go that halfway to black. You can't do that. If you go halfway to black, then the second value, or the second plane of the value, that the midtone, gonna have to be half of those two. So from here to here, you're gonna have to use halfway, like 90 to 50. Halfway of it would be 70, right? You can't use 80. So alright, so now that you understand that, so first thing, your background, your value, that's mean I'm gonna have to change all these. Dark value, so I'm gonna have to delete that one first. I'm gonna replace all these value. See, you're gonna have to follow all the step and listen to what and each of the beginners package, they are all related. So on each chapter you see different section of explaining. So now you can see it a little bit closer together in terms of value, right? All right. Now breaking planes. Well, I'm gonna do this one really quick because otherwise it's gonna be really long, because and that's gonna be the whole class, and this one probably I can already tell is gonna be longer than 40 minutes at least. So, and it's gonna take a lot of explanation. So when you break it down in this simple breakdown, this is what you're breaking down in terms of box, right? Bam. But this is also another box, but it might not line up. It might be slightly different. And when you're making box, you see three faces: 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Same as here. Okay. And in this one, this box, you might be a little bit, well, okay, that's fine. And this one is coming off forward here. All right, this one's angled back a little bit, so this second value gonna have to be slightly darker already. All right, so and if it's slightly moved backward or forward, that's gonna also affect the outcome of the value that you set up in the beginning. So in here, also you're gonna have to break down the chest. So it's gonna have another plane here. So you look at it on the side view, it will be torso, and then pelvis, and then the breast. This will be sloped more, I guess. And if you see the plane on the torso is facing this way, this one is slightly facing off. You can use the same value in the beginning, but as you refine it a bit more, it will have to change, and that will transform into, right, more organic. So now all this flat area, you're gonna have to smoothen it, cutting it, right? So, and so does the arm. The arm, instead of box, it's gonna change into cylinder first, and then it's gonna change into a more complex deltoid bicep, right? So I probably won't be able to explain in one tutorial. You're gonna have to probably do at least a few hours to be able to explain everything, because each section has a lot of complexity to it. But now I'm just going to do it a very simple rendering. So here, if you notice the sphere there, let's copy the sphere here. Yeah, and that's why every time I do class I will have 5 weeks at least. And the lighting coming, even though the lighting coming from this way, the whole side of that won't be only light. It will, as you make it into more organic form, you have a little bit of shadow even on the lightest part of that, right? So same thing, that's what you're gonna do here. Give it a bit of shadow. The shadow might not be as dark as the core shadow here, but it's gonna have slight darkness to both sides. Alright, so now I'm gonna render this, and that plane gonna have to, like I mentioned earlier, this gonna have to be lighter as a whole. Plane goes up. I'm just gonna go really quick now, and it's going in a little bit there. Oops, wrong value. And this angle inward a little, so it's gonna be slightly darker. Then that's gonna be armpit. But we're just gonna do a simple cylinder for now, and then this part a little bit of shadow there. And this is automatically, this part facing up is gonna be lighter. It's facing a bit down. This split, and then have the value in between, and try to get the edges to look nice. Round it up both sides, and transition from breast to pectoral. And you look at how I draw this. This is going in a little bit, that's going out, that one facing more light. This have hard edge in between the cut of the stomach. So there, a little bit, and then again shadow on that side slightly. Whoa. Lighter as it goes up, and create a transition in between this edge. And the reason I use hard edge brush, when you paint with hard edge you understand form a little bit more, and then more shadow this way, because you really have to work to get the transition, and you get hard edge right off the bat there, and hard edge here on deltoid there. Then elbow, all right, and then over here you're gonna have armpit to deltoid. Make it a little darker there. That'll be occlusion shadow. Then here I'm gonna give it slight shadow on the underside. Separate the muscle. And just, the first trial you probably wouldn't get it exactly how you want it to look. You're gonna have to do many of them. And now your silhouette. The drawing is a sketch, so as you paint I usually have to go in and correct the silhouette a bit more. So this will be step 1. And if you have any question, post them down below on the comment. And again, I will go on live stream. Like, I don't upload that many video anymore. I mean, I do still a little bit here and there, but I usually do live stream from Monday to Friday. At Monday, Wednesday, Friday is at what time? I forgot. Oh wait, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and on Tuesday and Thursday is at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So at noon and at night. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is at noon, and then Tuesday and Thursday is at night. So I'll go live, and be sure when you click the subscribe, you click the bell button so you get notified when I go live. And most of my live stream, it's not a class, it's just, you know, I'm just there to draw and answer question, and sometimes I do speed painting or whatever. Class would be different. So I just show you how I draw certain things, and most of them I would not archive it for public. If you go there and you're like, oh, how come the video is not there? It's because excuse me, because those are basically for my Patreon, because the Patreon is the people who make the live stream happen, so it belongs to them, not me, not you. And then also this is also part of the Patreon package. So now if you look at the rib cage, right, gonna break it down for you a little bit more. On the torso, you're gonna have to break the box into the organic form. So in here, the plane would be this would be flat and then down, flat and down, right? This would be more flat and come down and angle and then curve, and then curve in a bit, curve in a bit. So you have to kind of notice the contour line. But if you bake it in the simple form, just gonna be this is the box. Cut that corner, well, a bit, then you're gonna have here and then there, and that's where this transition is coming from, right? And you have a little bit there and there, and that's where the rib cage happens. So yeah, you're gonna have to make it a little bit more organic after you set it up with the box. So rib cage, and then underneath the breast, and here's another one. So I won't be able to finish this whole thing here because it's a little bit of occlusion, maybe a little bit of transition. And then in here there's going to be light, like I see show up, facing up a little bit there, lighter value here. Now it look like a stomach. Pelvis is going to be a little wider on the side there, hips, and you have shadow. But yeah, I think there's more rendering on the rest of the chapter, but you didn't do all of them. You just start with this is only the step 2 or step 3, so you gotta do all of them, man. You can't just leave it at step 2 and have me come here and fix it, because that's mean I'm going to show the whole tutorial to the public. Alright, so this is as far as I'm gonna go. The rest you probably know what to do. How I think I explained it, everything in there, and there. And again, stop by and say hi to me on live stream. I usually answer all your questions, or most of them anyways. And if the color palette that you have here is still not to your liking, then it's okay. You can tweak it after, but it's probably better to set it up to how you want it at the beginning, you know, like that's why I have all these value here, how I set up. So eventually you're gonna find out which skin tone that you you prefer toward a little more red or a little more yellow or a little more blue or whatever the color that you want, right? So the more you paint, the more you're gonna figure it out of how to make it look good. And everything after the foundation is just going to be a lot more subtle. It's not going to be as straightforward, like it's not the straightforward is not really a word, but it's not going to be as obvious, right? Because this is going to take a lot more subtlety. Like that is very obvious, but then now you're gonna have to know where the anatomy, so where the line should go and where the muscle structure is. But if you don't know the muscle structure, then you can just do the cylinder, so you don't really have to know everything to be able to render it nicely, right? So then I'm just gonna add a little hair here. Whoops, too dark. And if you are interested, you can just go download the full tutorial on my website at theartclass.com, or you can just go to Gumroad. You have similar tutorial. And in here, usually, well, this color is not so bad, but after you get to this point, then I see that you already add some red hue in there on there, but you're not that far yet, so you shouldn't be adding those red. Like once you come this far on this arm, then I will add a little bit of red using multiply, and you have nice transition. Oh, this is way too dark. I'm gonna lighten this up a bit. So afterwards you can use a little bit of soft brush to make the transition a bit nicer. Now I can add a little red. Right, and then, or you can in the beginning, but then you have to render the rest of the way. And in the middle section, usually they got a lot paler, so I would add a little more blue. Not too blue, but after I render everything else, right? So like that has to render a little bit more on the neck. But this is all the time I have today. And if you want feedback and paint over, you can go to my Patreon or just take class with me, because that's probably going to be, you really want to, you're really serious about it, then you should, because it's going to take a lot longer than 1 or 2 sessions to get to know everything, because there's so much to learn, so much to think about. And yep, I can keep doing this all day and I just kind of keep going and going like Energizer here. If I don't stop, I'm probably gonna paint the whole thing here. But anyway, thank you to all my Patreon that powered this, both my live stream and paint over session. So, and Patreon this month will get, let me show you something here. Let's just plug some stuff. Alright, so I'm pretty much done here. So from there and then here, so I just show you a little bit there. So alright, okay, so the Patreon investor level 5 will get everything. that I'm gonna talk about here. So this one is level 5. Level 5 there'll be one more on level 5. So usually level 5 will get, just think about it this way, level 5 gets 6 video, level 4 get 4, level 3 get about 2 or 3 video, level 2 get 1 or 2 video, level 1 get 1 video. So first video will be the drawing. Level 2 is basically a tutorial, like the beginner's package, and how to paint figure, perspective, lighting, different type of lighting, how to render material and all that. That will be level 3. But on the past Patreon that I already released those material study or rendering figure, you can download that on Gumroad. And this will be level 5. This one level 3 and up. This is level 4 and up. So usually I will talk for about 2 hours, and then for the rest of the way you probably already know what I'm talking about. Before you get these, you should already have a bunch of foundation or beginner's package. So this is level 3. Level 3 get 2. This is a bonus package, so it's just a video process. This one is video tutorial and level 3. So level 2 get 2. Level 4 and level 5 is supposed to have one more. Where the hell did it go? There we go. This is level 5. At level 5 there'll be one more with the environment, and then level 2 this month will be perspective, basically. Alright guys, well, thank you for watching, and I hope this session is somehow helping you guys, and I'll see you guys on my live stream. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, or at noon. On Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. I'll see you around. And if you want to register for the class, click on the top right corner. Right now it has character design and environment painting 101. Alright guys, or you can just email me directly, but you better be serious. If you're not serious, email me directly, I will block you. Okay, have a good one. Thank you for watching.